The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable, custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout-out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, and heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. Also support us on Anchor FM and PayPal. And for great gift ideas, go to amazon.com/the Mike Wagner Show. And for more great gift ideas, including t-shirts, hoodies, pop sockets, and a lot more, and some great books, go to amazon.com/Mian Mohsen Zia and order today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who is an author of a wonderful book and talks about, something we always wanted to do, be an inventor. And he's going to show you the ropes. He's an inventor and marketing expert from New York, and he's a force behind Smart Spin, with also Misto, gourmet olive oil sprayer, turn pan, and various housewares and kitchen products. And also, he's also a product developer and for lifetime brands, including Farberware, KitchenAid, Cuisinart, Pfaltzgraff, and more, and owned 5 of his own gourmet specialty kitchen stores. And, of course, if you're familiar with the names, this is the gentleman behind the kitchens, and he'll make you just hungry for more and cook great. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York, the author of Inventor Confidential and the force behind Smart Spin, Misto, and all the great kitchen brands you love and recognize. Ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented Warren Tuttle. Warren, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Mike. That's quite an intro. Thank you I'm actually just outside New York in Connecticut, but thanks for the kind intro.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We love to call it New York for a good reason. It's like a big apple, and you're part of this big apple, too. So, and of course, you got some amazing as well, too. You're the author of Inventor Confidential, and you're an inventor and marketing expert, and you're the force behind things like Smart Spin, Misto, Gourmet Olive Oil Sprayer, the Turn Pan, and also various housewares and kitchen products. And you also the product development whiz for lifetime brands, including Farberware, KitchenAid, Cuisinart, Pfaltzgraff, and you owned 5 of your own gourmet specialty kitchen stores. And also you also help inventors as well, too, an advocate for inventor rights. And you serve as president of the United Inventors Association Board of Directors, and we'll also talk about the book. And before we get into all that, tell us how I first got started, Warren.
Well, you know what? Sometimes I go back to youth. I was a hard worker as a kid. I had my own paper route. I shoveled driveways and walkways. When I got a little older and I bought a Jeep, I had a little 6.5-foot Meyer plow, so I could actually had my own snowplowing business. I turned that into a window washing business, and you get the idea, right? That was about
I'm picturing it already. In fact, when it snows in Bismarck, I can call you to get my drive plowed, and if I need windows washing afterwards, you can come over and feel free to do so.
Hey, I was a better window washer. My problem was with the plow. I used to burn out the clutch all the time. But anyway, I probably lost more money than I made. But I've always been doing. I graduated from college a number of years ago, and then I started working the next day for a department store in New York City. And I basically went through the training program there. I was one of the few that made buyer, and I was in the housewares area. I was a buyer of small electrics and cookware, and that became my sort of lifelong love for the housewares industry. Eventually, I moved out of New York up here to Connecticut, and I started my own gourmet shop called The Complete Kitchen. And that was a Williams-Sonoma, kind of high-end, gourmet product store. And eventually, like you said, I had a number of locations. I also had a food store that did prepared foods and catering. And I even had a cooking school. And the cooking school, I had Julia Child visit once. And, it's a pretty well-known cooking school in our area. So I had 65 employees, and I was rocking it. And one day an inventor walked in about 20 years ago, and I had never met a real live inventor before. And he had invented this product that ended up being called Misto, M-I-S-T-O, which is an olive oil sprayer. Basically, it's a metal container with an FDA-approved plastic liner. And he had figured out a way with the nozzle to be able to spray oil. Olive oil and food oil is much heavier than, say, water has a heavier viscosity, so it required a special invention in order to make that happen. And then what you would do is you put your oil inside, your choice of oil, and then you pump the cap kind of like a kid's squirt gun. And you could spray this on your food. So what were the benefits? Well, number one, you could spray a lot less oil, so there's less fat, but you still got the same flavor. But the other benefit was a lot of people use PAM. And PAM is sold in supermarkets, and it's a fine product. But the only thing is PAM is a lower-grade vegetable oil. It typically uses preservatives. Mm-hmm. Butane fuel to fire it, so you don't want to put that around your flame, right?
unless you're doing a concert or something, you spray Pam and he goes, hey, let's kiss Pam.
yeah, like your later there, but I did. But then and then when you're done with Pam, you throw the container out, and there's 100 million cans a year thrown away. So if you put them back to back, they could circumnavigate the globe. So wow. Misto was not only an alternative, to use your own oil, refill, reusable and have a nice attractive container that you could take right to the table. But it also is environmentally sound, and those things all hit together. So I looked at the product and I said to the inventor, I said, "This is great." I said, "I love this. I'll take 100 of them right now for my store." Well, we haven't made them up yet. They're still a prototype stage, and so I that's when I teamed up with him, and we sold the first 12 units in my store, and then we sold out in one day. We brought him back in the next day. Every day he'd make 12 more in his garage, and then eventually set up tooling and started making 100 a day. And then I got all my friends on the East Coast to buy them in stores, and we jacked it up, and eventually sold it to Bloomingdale's and then Macy's, and then went across the country. In the first full year we were in business, we sold 1.2 million mistos, and it changed my entire life around. It's the American dream, right? And we were making them right here in Connecticut, so it was pretty cool. And so, long story short, was that was such a positive experience for me. I eventually sold my stores. Tom Risch was his name. He eventually sort of did his own thing with the company, didn't need me any longer. So I went off to help other inventors, and I've done that in a variety of ways, which I talk about in the book. The book being Inventor Confidential, The Honest Guide to Profitable Inventing. And basically then I got this idea one day, rather than charge inventors or take part of their profits on the back end, that I would hook up with companies and run what we call open innovation programs. So I signed up the largest housewares company in the country, Lifetime Brands. It has all those brands you were talking about before. And for 15 years now, I've been helping them find inventors to do licensing deals. And I spread that out eventually to the largest power tool company in the U.S., who makes Ryobi and Rigid power tools, and then also direct response television. So I'm in that space where I'm helping companies, bridging them with inventors, getting their products to market. And then in a parallel path, I got involved in my local inventor club. And then eventually worked my way up to becoming the president of the largest nonprofit inventor association in the country, the United Inventors Association. So I don't take money from inventors, and I try to give back in a lot of charitable ways to the industry.
Mm-hmm. It sounds amazing what you did, and it's just an amazing start. And what was that one precise moment that influenced you, first of all, like, say, you get into selling, and also, again, that one precise moment? We talked about the story and how you went from kitchen products to inventing, but was that also one precise moment that influenced you to be an inventor? So basically, one's like, selling housewares, and also the precise moment that influenced you to what you want to do is like, be an inventor and help.
Well, that's a great question. I would have to say the seminal moment. It's an amazing experience, Mike, when you take a product that's been invented. And by the way, I was not the inventor. I was helping. So give all credit to Tom Risch. But I took the product that he developed out of thin air, and actually explained it to a customer. And they handed me a $20 bill, and I handed them the product. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the real moment when the rubber meets the road, and that's what sales is all about. A lot of times we get carried away with how many we've sold, and people are doing things online, very impersonal. But when you hand someone with your right hand product, and they hand you back a $20 bill, and you put it in the cash register, you now have made a transaction. And if you do that enough times in the day, you realize you have something. And that moment, I kind of miss that because I don't have my stores anymore. But to me, that would be the moment that you just asked me to describe.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the one thing I also liked, you talked about the Misto, the Gourmet Olive Oil Sprayer, also the Turn Pan as well, too. And that was a really cool product.
Yeah, Toss and Turn Pan was awesome. And that was a product that I did after I started having inventors come to me once they realized that I helped someone. And this inventor was a chef. He owned 3 of his own restaurants, and he would use his pans at the restaurant back in the kitchen. And he was so busy that when he finished using a pan, say on the stove, where he was say doing an omelet or something, like a metal pan, he would throw it into a bin, and he'd throw like 50 of these pans in a bin every day.
Oh my goodness, 50 pans in a bin? I can use one of those. I'll just scrub it.
Well, eventually we'd clean them, but what happened is that they'd all land the same way, and they'd bend back the far end of the pan. So eventually you had these pans that were sort of, whale shaped. They kind of, away from the handle, had a raised edge on the far side. And then he realized that they ended up working better when it came to sauteing and flipping things. And so that's what gave him the idea to develop it. And he developed that, and then he brought it to me, and then I helped him take it to market. We took it on QVC and some of the shopping shows. We licensed it to a big cookware company, and the rest was history. So my expertise, I can get products to market directly. I know that process, but it's pretty, it takes a lot of money, capital intensive and labor intensive, and you can do it, but there's a lot of risk. But I also have learned a lot about licensing to bigger companies that will take the idea and pay you per unit for it.
Mm-hmm. It sounds to me the story you told me about the turn pan is one of the few stories that I've heard where somebody does something by accident and turns out to be just a great product. And maybe think of that guy who accidentally overcooked like an oatmeal or something, and then just took off a dried piece. He didn't realize, hey, I just developed a cornflake.
That's right. That it does happen, and sometimes people go down some roads. I always say to inventors, you may have maybe something you invented, the technology may be not what you initially intended, but it might work for another industry. You never know. We have a fancy term, we call it tech transfer, but it's really pretty simple. Sometimes a single invention can solve things in different arenas. So maybe you develop something that's particularly good for the housewares industry, and then find out later, boy, you can use it in fishing rods, you can use it in toys, you can use it in other things. So I've seen that happen a lot.
And yes, it still cuts, slices, and dices, and makes julienne salads.
Well, that it does, and by the way, that will there'll always be no end of it. Right back to, remember the honeymooners, core A apple and all that?
Yes, so, I remember the honeymoons. He always tried to come up with a invention, and in order to make money, so he'd have to drive a bus. I remember those.
That's right. He had that thing that would core A apple. But but it hasn't changed a whole lot. But and every so often, we call it the 7-year cycle. Sometimes things are a big hit, and then they quiet down, and then 7 years later you bring them back out again, the same product. It's pretty amazing.
It does sound amazing. We'll talk about your book, Inventor Confidential, in just a minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable, custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Mosensia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today of 4 Goes Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to support The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. Also on support on Anchor FM as well as PayPal. And for some cool gift ideas, go to amazon.com/The Mike Wagner Show. And for more great gift ideas, including great books by Mia Mosensia, plus t-shirts, hoodies, pop sockets, and more, go to amazon.com/Mia Mosensia and order today. We're here with the author of Inventor Confidential and marketing expert from the New York area and the force behind Smart Spin, Mitso, Gourmet Olive Oil Sprayer, Turn Pan, and more. Warren Tuttle here on the Mike Wagner Show. And let's talk about your book, Inventor Confidential, that's out on Amazon, other outlets. And tell us all about the book.
Well, it's a accumulation of a lot of life lessons, but it's particularly, as the cover or the title might infer, particularly about the inventor community. What I've tried to do is to tell a different type of story. There are certainly books that are written by inventors or marketing people, but mine is meant to be from inside of companies, and if you want to license to companies, what that really looks like, what they're really considering. I mean, the real inside game, and if you want to take your product to market, what's really involved in that. I'm very old school, Mike. I'm all about developing your product the right way through prototypes and patents, and doing things, not taking shortcuts. There's a lot of folks out there that charge inventors a lot of money. usually with little or no results, and inventors are unfortunately taken advantage of a lot. I try to tell them what to look out for, and so the first half of the book is all technical stuff about that, but told it from a first-person singular, so real-life experiences. So it's very readable. It's not a, it reads well because it's personal. But the second half of the book really gets into a lot of stuff going on in Washington, D.C. these days. With that's where my advocacy work comes in, and sticking up for inventors about the changes in the patent system, some of the battles that we have with the big tech companies and other influences. And then I end the book, Mike, with a list of what everybody can do in America, everybody, to make a more inventive country. And we have invention and innovation in our DNA, right back to 1792. But if we want to keep being the most inventive country in the world, we need to get like many things in our society, we need to get our act together.
Mm-hmm. And how so? Like inventors and everybody need to get their act together. This is interesting.
Well, our country has always had a very strong patent system, and it was designed, from day one. George Washington actually licensed this very third patent ever issued. Thomas Jefferson was the first director of the patent office. Alexander Hamilton, felt strongly about copying the British system, where we would incentivize innovation, and inventors by giving them, basically the deal is, Mike, you get 20 years exclusive use of your patent, and it has to be approved by the patent office. But then in return for that, after 20 years, that becomes part of public record, and anyone can use it. But it gives you a 20-year head start. And what that does is it protects the little guys to either bring their product out or to license it to others. And quite frankly, all the big tech companies today, like all of them, just name them, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, all started with a patent portfolio. And that protected their concept and idea until they could nurture and get it out. And unfortunately, we keep coming back with this. Large companies, once they become big and powerful, they no longer really want a patent system. They have brands and they have their own, and so they're concerned about being sued and for infringement and so forth. So by and large, they want to weaken the patent system. That's how we see it as inventors. I mean, they see us as a bit of a pain in the neck sometimes. But having said all that, there's certain ecosystem in the United States, and if we want inventions to come out of garages and grassroots folks, and not just from big companies, but from rural areas, from minorities, from everybody, that doesn't necessarily have the same advantages as big companies, then we need a strong patent system. And so I'm a big advocate for that and fighting for that every day, and I talk about that a lot in the book.
You also say too that the patents last 20 years or so. Now, in order to keep that going, so they don't get taken over by like big corporate or get pirated by somebody else, is there an opportunity to say renew the patent, or is it like 20 years and that's it?
Well, the overall 20 years, that's it. But you do renew the patent, with the patent office every few years. But yes, the term or the longest you can basically protect it for is 20 years. So that should give you enough time to get it out there, get it established. You can then, at that point, like tie it into other forms of what we call intellectual property, like brands, and copyrights and stuff. So let's say I invent a new drink, and I have 20 years, to get that drink out there. Along the way, I can call it Coke, and then have that brand name forever. So that's what gives you sort of the advantage out there. But a lot of inventors use their technology and their patent to then license it to a larger company. So I have inventors all the time that are inventing new kitchen tools, and then they bring it to us and at Lifetime Brands, and then we will license it ethically and properly. We'll pay them money per unit, and then we put it under our own brands like Farberware and KitchenAid and so forth. So it's a nice mix, and that's a win-win for everybody when grassroots folks and individuals on the ground can benefit from the whole ecosystem. Because quite frankly, when big companies are the only ones inventing new products, and the grassroots folks are not involved, we get things like the Kodak. I don't know if you remember that story, but they actually developed and invented the digital camera, and then they shelved it because it was going to adversely affect their film margins. We saw where that went, right?
Really? Boy, that was a bad move. Then again, who knew the digital camera was going to be really big? It's like they're still used to Polaroids, the 126s, the 110s, the 35s, and I thought, oh my goodness.
Well, you're exactly right, but that's the thing. We don't know And so innovation in America is very organic, right? And that's one thing about America. You know, you got to stay working and stay at it, because tomorrow a new invention could come down the pike and take you out. So you know, this is all part of our ecosystem. But if you shut down the system and don't reward people for their efforts, then they're going to stop inventing, and then we're going to be stuck driving Corvairs.
Oh, the Corvair! Oh my gosh, I've got a story to tell you about the Corvair, because, you know, they may be cool cars, but they're dangerous. And I remember a story where we're driving through a hailstorm, you know, coming home from Wisconsin, Illinois, and all these these like big golf size hail, they were coming through the vents and into our laps. How you like that? It's like, that goes to show you, it's like, it doesn't happen with the engine in the back. It happens with the vents. We're getting pounded by these hailstones through the vents.
Oh my God! Well, we had a Corvair too when I was a kid, so we must be same generation.
They're cool cars, but we'll have to talk about that for another time. But also too, getting back to the patents as well too, that you talk about the patent system we have in the United States. How does the patent system compare to the rest of the world?
Well, not too long ago, we were always ranked number one in the world. By some reports today, we're not in the top 10. Last year, first year ever, that China issued more patents than we did.
Wow!
So we're on a bit of a curve now. Our laws changed about 8 years ago. We went from a first to invent to a first to file, which just is not too technical. It just means that up until about 8 years ago, if you were an inventor, you could keep a notebook and that was your invention. Now you have to actually file something, and that's okay. There's nothing, you know, terribly wrong with that, because that put us in line with the patent systems around the world, because the globe's getting smaller, and they had to have more of a system to keep track of everybody's patents around the world, which is fine. But what they did do is they put a couple more additions into the patent system, and I don't want to get too technical about it. People can read about it, but it just made one of the things was sort of an internal patent court now, that after your patents are issued, it can be reviewed and taken away from you, and that's created a little bit of strife for inventors who don't have the funds always. I mean, it's taken enough to get to market, develop it, and get it out there, and now you got to defend it, and it's made it easier. So, look, from an inventor perspective, anything that strengthens the patent system, so that you feel confident to either take your product out, or maybe even more importantly, raise money from others. You know, just think about it, Mike. If someone came to you with a great idea and you invested in it, and then a year later the patent was taken away from them, then that would pull the rug out from what you were trying to accomplish. So we don't want that repeated around America, and we want to straighten out those problems.
Mm-hmm. And how does social media affect the patent process as well too? As you know, social media has really exploded with the whole the patent thing, the inventor, the business, and everything. How is that affecting, like, with a patent, like, compared to back in the good old days?
Well, that's a great question, and the answer is, it's had a tremendous effect on the entire industry. I can tell you from a marketing standpoint that some companies have become very good at marketing to inventors. But like anything on the internet, it's hard to determine what's true and not. A lot of people, it becomes a credibility issue, and sometimes inventors, are easy to take advantage of. I have a whole section in the book about, a lot of them have engineering backgrounds, or at least mindsets, and they're very good at putting things together. But when it comes to actually taking it out, it's a different skill set. So they tend to partner up with other people that don't always, bring them the results that they love. And I say in the book that there was a recent poll in a magazine called Inventor's Digest that said 78% of all inventors who were issued a patent thought they were going to become millionaires, and I can just tell you that doesn't happen. So the percentage is very, very small. It's not unlike wanting to be a rock star or write a book or anything else. To be famous and successful. It's the odds are long. So before people spend their money on all that stuff, be careful. And the internet, as you well know, it's still not policed necessarily, and so be careful of that. As far as advocacy. I would say that it's interesting because some of the big, tech companies are the ones that are trying to pare back the patent system, and yet, so we're kind of bad. I remember one day we were in D.C., kind of on the other side of the fence from from one of these companies, Google, and then ironically, I didn't know where we were meeting. So guess what I did? I went to Google to do a search to find out where we were meeting. So
you're involved with you're involved with the issue with Google, and yet you had to look up Google to find where the meeting's at. How you like that?
Yeah. Well, I had to go. If you're leading a jihad, you're allowed to assimilate the people that you're trying to fight. Anyway, but I know you think all these crazy things, but listen, Google's an amazing company. Amazingly wealthy people now. They've done great things. We all use it. It's become a byproduct. We all love Google in many, many ways. All I want to make sure is that the next Google that's in the drawing room gets to market in 10 years, and we keep this good thing going. Why kill the golden goose?
Exactly. Why kill the golden goose that lays the eggs? I mean, that's a very good point. And also just another thing as well, too. Let's say I have an invention out there. Let's say I have the XYZ widget. So let's do a quick walkthrough in the process. I've got an invention, the XYZ widget that can cut, slice, dice, make julienne salads. And let's just walk through it just a bit.
Sure. So it all starts with an idea in your head, and inventors are that special part of society that never stops thinking about ways to solve problems. Great products often solve a problem, or they add to quality of life. So it starts in people's heads. A lot of inventors, are getting continual ideas every time they look at something. They think they can do it better, but it's turning those thoughts and ideas into reality. And what's really important then is, and I have a little section on this. You sleep on it, you get up the next day. If you still think it's a great idea, and you can slice and dice and julienne better than anything out there in an easier way, then what you need to do is to turn it into a mechanical product. It doesn't have to look great, but you need to build one that proves function. So many people just sort of draw them out and send them in, and that's really not enough. We don't know if it works. We don't know if we can build it. We don't know if we can mass produce it. If you really want to turn it into a winner, you got to work it out. And then as you build these things, the mechanical functions and the unique parts to it become the basis for your claims for patents. Because utility patents are basically physical claims that you're claiming in your yard. And by the way, patents are property rights. So once you get approval for your patent, that becomes a property right, just like your home or your yard or anything else. So you want to develop the product, and you want to pursue your intellectual property protection, and then you want to vet the marketplace. You want to find out how big the marketplace is. You want to talk to experts. A lot of people start with friends and family, but or the guy at the end of the bar. But let's face it, he may not know as much as you want. If I had a device like you were describing, I might go down to my local kitchen shop or Bed Bath & Beyond or something and talk to the salespeople, see what they think of it. I might visit a trade show. When COVID's not here, there's a big show annually in Chicago. This is the Houseware Show. Walk through, learn more about the industry. And eventually, you develop that product, and you get to the point where you think, well, I think I could take this to market, which I have a chapter called 30 Steps to Market. If you're going directly, which involves a lot, or hey, let's bring it to Warren, and maybe Lifetime Brands would license that, pay me in advance, and and just like my book, I pitched it to HarperCollins, and they pay me a royalty for each book sold.
That's very interesting. And where can we find your book at?
Well, right now it's going to launch on Amazon on March 23rd. So maybe by the time the show airs, it'll be out there. You'll be able to get it at Barnes & Noble also, but Amazon is shipping then. It's called Inventor Confidential, The Honest Guide to Profitable Inventing. And, you can also go on my website, inventorconfidential.com. Mike, I got some amazing, folks that have endorsed the book. I have the president of the Home Depot endorsed it. I have Chan Kim, who wrote Blue Ocean Strategy, one of the #1 best-selling business books in the world, and the former director of the Patent Office, and all types of people. So far it's gotten good reviews and endorsements, and we hope everybody enjoys it.
And that's amazing as well, too. I'm going to start my invention right now, and we'll be back with author Warren Tuttle of Inventor Confidential in just a minute. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for early needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international war-wearing author Mian Mosensia of Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with Warren Tuttle of Inventor Confidential after this timeout.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with inventor and marketing expert Warren Tuttle of Inventor Confidential here on the Mike Wagner Show, and we talked about the amazing book, the amazing story of Warren Tuttle and his kitchen brands, Lifetime, Farberware, KitchenAid, Cuisinart, Pfaltzgraff, also force behind Smart Spin, Mitso, Gourmet, Olive Oil Sprayer, Turn Pan, and more. And, of course, I'm just ordering them right now as we speak here and trying to come up with some ideas. And, Warren, just a few moments here, and we'd love to have you back as well with some great stories. And what can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Warren?
Obviously right now focusing on the book. For the last 12 years, I've been the president of the United Inventors Association, which is the largest, inventor nonprofit, 501c3 nonprofit in America. And that's been a wonderful experience. I'm going to remain on the board, but I just stepped down, and someone else has just taken over. So I actually still involved there on sort of the government side of that organization, and also doing educational podcasts. People can go on the UIA website at uiausa.org and learn more about content and all the stuff that we're doing. But my newest mission, thanks for asking, Mike, is I've teamed up with the authors of Blue Ocean Strategy, which is amazing, sold over 5 million copies worldwide. And it's an entrepreneurial program that helps sort of Main Street entrepreneurs. And I'm working with a lot of large institutional folks to try to get that message out. So I'm going back and forth between the inventor world and the entrepreneur world. But basically, to answer your question, I continue to want to help people. And the reason I do is because I've had 9 of my own businesses, and not all of them have been successful out of the gate. So I know what it's like to fail. And what I try to do is give back to others and help them hopefully experience a little bit of what what I call the American dream, and what I've had the fortune to experience.
That is very amazing as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Well, I would say that in the beginning of the book, I dedicate the book to 2 people. One is my wife, who I love dearly. We've been married 38 years. But the second is my original mentor, who I worked for when I went to New York City to work for a department store, Bob Reichenbach. Bob used to say to me, look at things not as they are, but as they could be. And I give him tremendous credit for getting my business career going. So I would have to say that I'd probably choose Bob.
That is amazing. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Well, it's my own advice, and it's one I gave to my kids, who oftentimes are unsure where to go. And I would say, look at the horizon, and you'll know where to go.
That's a good point. I love that. I'm looking out on the horizon right now while I come up with a new invention. I'm doing so many things at once. You're amazing, Warren.
you'll get through all the weeds, the lakes, the mud, and everything else that gets you there. Don't look down at your feet. You'll get too discouraged. Just look ahead.
That's true, and that's a very good point. I'm doing so we speak. And we're here with Warren Tuttle, author of Inventor Confidential, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Warren, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor. Keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact how people contact you, and when can people purchase or check out your book?
Well, Mike, thanks so much for having me. Again, the book is Inventor Confidential, The Honest Guide to Profitable Inventing. I do have a website, inventorconfidential.com. My last name is Tuttle, Tuttle. You can Google me, Warren Tuttle, or you can go on tuttleinnovation.com. And you can email me at www.tuttle@yahoo.com. That's 2 W's, tuttle@yahoo.com. I may not get back to you the same day, but I promise within a couple of days I'll respond.
We'll do so. Again, Warren, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor. Keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch, and let's keep the inventions going.
That's great. I'm all with you, bro. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing. Available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.